And Christina, Santiago is home to roughly 40% of Chile's residents, right? With more roughly 8 million people living there. What could you talk a little about what are the threats that a city with so many people living in it faces when it comes to extreme heat?
Yes, of course. Well, is a city as big as Santiago, a metropolitan area, um, combines a lot of problems. Not only a lot of segregation that is very common in Latin America, but also areas of the city where you don't have many green, you don't have public spaces or parks, things. So most vulnerable people live in those areas. So if you combine the index of the access of green spaces and the poverty or vulnerability indexes, they usually are converting the same area, and most of those are urban heat islands neighborhoods with
Yeah.
so those type of neighborhoods have people with have energy poverty. With some of them, their houses are not well constructed, not well isolated. So they need, and there's a lot of people living in the same house. So you have a really crowded population. So those are actually things we need to take a look into it, because those people are more exposed to the effects of heat, right? When Elenio talks about the vulnerable population, we always think in the infants, the young people, the elderly people, the women that are pregnant, also migrants. We have a huge wave of migration in Santiago, and most of them live in those areas, and they don't have enough resources to have, for example, isolate the houses, have access to some of them are in neighborhoods with are not even settled. So some of them don't even have access to water. So these are a combination of problems, yeah. So are really wicked, really complex. But the good news, okay, is that nobody has to die from extreme heat. So as Lenio said, we also have a red code in Santiago. So we have categorized the temperatures that are dangerous to people, and the authorities need to take actions toward to protect these people. So in schools, in some in the hospitals, so they can address these vulnerable people and try to keep them safe. Mostly giving them like hydrating them. You need to rest and go to a shade or don't expose yourself to the heat. So it's not that we need to do something really complicated to keep people safe. And this, I think that message is the one that we're trying to put out during our campaign in our summer.